is up, bros? I'm Caleb,
And I'm Jonathan.
and we are a couple of bros on a mission to give you guys the most detailed movie reviews out there with as little bias as possible. Welcome to the All Bros. This week on the podcast, we are going to be updating you guys on what we've been watching the past little while. And then we'll be getting into our breakdown of DreamWorks' latest film that just recently came out on streaming, Orion and the Dark. So yeah. With that, let's say we get on into this.
Let's do it.
Hello, my name is Brucker Nurse, and I want to tell you about my fun horror movie podcast called Autopsy of a Horror Movie. On my show, I like to have fun dissecting out what makes a horror movie scary, what worked for it, what didn't, what types of fears does it play off of. Is it an allegory for any sort of message? I don't know, but let's find out. Also, I like to watch slashers. I'm a big slasher guy, so I'll watch a slasher and do a kill grade for it. I will cover the kills and I will tell you how I would grade it based on shock, method, style points, and a fourth category that is a reflection of the movie. Besides those, I'll have fun with special topic episodes, commentary tracks, interviews with guests, including some Shudder directors, so I just like to have a fun time over here. If any of this sounds interesting to you or you just want to come check me out, please head over to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere they listen to podcasts and search for Autopsy of a Horror Movie. Also be sure to find me on Instagram at Brucker Horror, where you get fun updates and some cool little posts that I do. Thanks for listening, and I hope that you get to enjoy the show, and I'll see you on Instagram. Bye.
Alrighty, this week in Weekly Watch, we have a few. We watched a few things between the two of us this week, so let's get on into that. So first up, Rose.
So for me, just in preparation of the new Ghostbusters movie coming out next month, I've started watching as much Ghostbuster stuff as I can. Shocker. But so started with Afterlife the other day. Still holds up. Truly still holds up. It's a great third entry. And the way that they tie it into the first two is amazing. Not really the second one. You can definitely tell that the second one is still a thing. It still existed. But you never see the two patch, nothing like that. But still, you definitely can tell that they're not excluding the second one, which I appreciate because everyone else does, which always made me mad. But whatever. But yeah, no, just even I've seen this movie a couple times now, and seeing this for another what's the word? What? Because I haven't seen this movie in probably over a year, and so watching it this close to the new one coming out, honestly, I got a whole new love for it. I love these characters that they introduce so much. Throughout the whole movie, I was telling myself, it's an amazing world we live in that Paul Rudd is now a Ghostbuster. And especially in the new trailer, just seeing him freaking suited up just makes me so happy. And he's amazing in this movie. McKenna Grace, Finn Wolfhard, all amazing. I will fully admit I actually like Finn Wolfhard in these movies more than I do in Stranger Things. I don't know. I just like his character a lot more. I mean, he's bratty in Stranger Things, and he's also in this, and he's also a bratty teen in this one too. But I don't know. Just I like his character better in the Ghostbusters films. Yeah, no, great. Had a great time rewatching it. I always do. Yeah, it's amazing. Homages to the original are perfect, and just fan service galore. It's great. So when we initially reviewed it, we gave it a $5 Tuesday, I believe, and so standing by that. So $5 Tuesday for Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Yeah, I remember really liking this one. I do remember there being some slow parts, and that's typically before it started ghost busting. But
Fair enough.
After that, it was freaking action packed the whole way through, and I freaking loved it. So yeah. All right. I ended up watching a couple things this week. One of them I watched a couple days ago, as of when we're recording this. Wrong one. I was watching The Circle. So that's the one I watched a couple days ago. Um, I was expecting a lot more, especially with the freaking cast, dude. Like the cast is freaking
Seriously.
killer. I mean,
Yeah,
they have freaking Emma Watson in this. They have Tom Hanks. They had Patton Oswalt. Karen Gillan was in it. Like they had a freaking stacked cast, and they wasted every single one of them.
Yeah, that freaking sucks. Sounds
Yeah.
like movie 43 all over again.
Dude, it was lame. So, do you know the premise of this movie?
I mean, no, because I watched the trailer when it first came out and haven't watched anything from it since.
Okay. So, The Circle is a tech conglomerate. It's basically like Google, right?
Okay.
But they keep developing these new technologies that are supposed to aid everyday citizens in different varieties of ways. So the big thing is that they develop these like super tiny cameras that give you like HD quality picture, and they have like different colors and stuff, so you can just slap them anywhere, and they're super cheap too, so you can just go and slap these cameras everywhere. And Tom Hanks is like, isn't it great, we have like 7 in this room right now, you couldn't even tell. And yeah, so Emma Watson's character, she likes to kayak, so she goes out late one night after stealing it's somewhere that she goes locally. The people or the owners of the kayaking place weren't there, so she just takes the kayak and bounces, goes out in the middle of the night, ends up getting caught up in a storm and almost drowns. But there's one of those tiny little cameras on the buoy that she's swimming past, and the Coast Guard comes, saves her, and all that good stuff. And then Tom Hanks uses that to convince her to basically what they call go transparent, which means that anything that they text, anything that they watch, like basically anything that they do, like she has like a camera on her, and that's like going transparent. Other bullshit. And then they're just like, also, like we can help, like we can track down criminals like super duper fast, so let's test it out. And so they track down someone on like the FBI's most wanted list, and they do that in a matter of minutes. And like the people that are like chasing her, like it's just some rando that's like, oh my gosh, I found her, and then they go and like chase her down, she gets arrested, and they're like, yeah, we can do this with anyone. And then they're like, okay, let's do it with one of her friends, like one of her old friends that wanted to stay like out of the tech space and everything, because he was like super paranoid about them spying on him, which rightfully so. So he ends up getting freaking chased down by these crazy people, and they end up like chasing him off of a bridge, and he like goes and like crashes to his death, and it's all like live streamed everywhere. And then it's the
Jeez.
wildest shit, dude. And it was done so poorly.
Dude, I remember when this movie first came out, I was considering doing a blind buy for it. I'm very much glad I did not.
It was dumb. It made me so mad.
Where is this streaming right now? I'm curious.
This is on Netflix right now.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Yeah, well, don't need to watch it now.
Yeah, I'm giving this a nothing better to do, because this was absolutely, I had nothing better to do.
Yeah. So what stopped you from giving it a don't bother? Was it the cast?
I think it was just the concept. The concept was okay.
Okay.
but it's just like the way that they executed it, like really just aggravated the shit out of me.
Yeah, understandable.
Yeah, it's just it turned into like a big thing. So before she like joined this company, right? She's like,
Hmm.
she wasn't like she was kind of like how I am, like not really quite posting a lot. She'll post every once in a while, but doesn't really post, doesn't really keep her profile up to date or anything. And so when she gets to this company, um, people start giving her a hard time about it and being like, "Well, you really should be posting this or this or that or blah blah blah." Like, what did you even do this weekend? And she's like, "Well, I went kayaking." And the guy was like, "Ah, like I kayak. We could have gone kayaking together. Like, if you would have just let me. Like, it doesn't even like pop up as one of your interests on your profile." And I'm like, "Dude, I will punch you in the throat."
Holy
And
shit.
it's just like, "Well, we're promoting openness and everything." And I'm like, "Dude, I will freaking rip your head off." Just stop.
Oh man.
But yeah, it was like it was bullshit like that, and that I was just like, no, like I can't freaking do this.
Oh shit.
And it was so dumb. Like so John Boyega's in this. He's
Oh.
like the inventor or the creator of the circle or whatever. And so he's just kind of like someone that just kind of like roams around without like he doesn't even do anything. Like he just kind of like standing by a pool, and then Emma Watson like goes and talks to him for a minute, and then he just kind of like mysteriously disappears, and then he shows up again one day and he's like, "Follow me." And they takes her down into this like storage area, and then he's like, "What do you think about this?" And she's like, "I think it's sketchy." And she's like, "Uh-huh," and then disappears again. And then it's like near the end, or when she starts getting caught up in all this, he like goes to her and he's just like, "I thought you were better than this." Poof, disappears again. And then it's like at the end of the movie, like after she's given up being transparent, she's uh like, "I want to turn on these creators." And he's like, "Yes, let's make it happen." And then again, and then you don't see
Oh,
him.
good
Like,
lord.
it is so ridiculous. It's not even funny.
Wow.
Yeah, it's so dumb. It is such a dumb movie. And like I said, just all it did was make me mad.
Understandable.
Yeah. The next movie that I watched, which I just watched today, like I watched the one we're doing today, the Orion and the Dark. I watched that today, and then right after that, I watched the next movie I'm going to talk about, Burnt. And this one wasn't half bad.
Okay.
Um, it kind of had. You remember that Jon Favreau movie, Chef?
Yes, I remember it. I never saw it, but I do know which movie you're talking about.
Yeah, so it's kind of on the same lines as that.
Okay.
A little bit more on the extreme side.
Gotcha.
So it's kind of like if Chef were made about like Gordon Ramsay.
Oh, okay.
So
All
it's his
right. I
very
like
like
that.
particular um his eye for detail and everything. It's like in pursuit of his mission to become a 3-star Michelin star chef.
Okay.
And yeah, so it was good. It was pretty good.
All right.
I've been seeing it going around on TikTok a lot, and was just like, I've been just seeing these clips, and I'm just like, well, shit, like I guess I'm watching this when I saw it, because it's like it's on its way, like it's leaving Netflix soon.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, so I like I mean, you still got
This is like the end
like
of
it.
February.
Yeah, it'll be like the end. Like I think
Okay.
this one goes out on the 23rd or
Okay.
something like that.
I'll try to catch it.
Yeah, but not a bad movie. Like definitely not a bad movie, and it 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 nails the intensity that I feel kitchens have. At
Okay.
least kitchens like this.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll
So
definitely check this one out. Not the previous one, but I'll check this one out.
yeah. So I'm not sure if I said I'm giving this one a stream it, and I'm giving The Circle nothing better to do. But I believe that is all we had in weekly watch this week. So with that, let's say we move on to this week's headliner.
Let's do it.
All right. All right. Getting into this week's headliner. We did not ask a question of the week this week because we were planning on doing that Kevin Hart movie Lift until this morning, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was straight up this morning.
Yeah. I was like, dude, I don't want to
like no, this was Caleb's word. I don't know if you've seen the movie yet, but if you weren't feeling it, how do you feel about that new Dreamworks movie? And yeah, we were both just like, yeah, we have a lot more interest in that.
Dude, it's I watched the trailers for Lift and it didn't sell me on it.
I didn't see anything, but I mean, I only recommended it just because of Kevin Hart. But I mean, with DreamWorks, like even if it's bad DreamWorks, it's still DreamWorks. Although I don't know how I'm feeling about DreamWorks with the whole like Megamind sequel shit that they're doing right now.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Like
that looks wretched.
So someone pointed this out. I think I sent you the video. I don't know if I did. But someone pointed out that when it comes to like the TV animation for their properties, it's the reason why it looks so different is it's animated in a completely different animation studio than their regular one. It's animated overseas. That way, because they know it's a they know it's a TV series. It's not going to make as much money as a theatrical film, since it's just being put on streaming. They want to make it for cheaper, and then that way, since they're making it overseas, they can pay employees less over there. And so that's why.
Shocker.
I know, right? And so that's why the animation is such a downgrade from the first one. But just the fact that it's that Will Ferrell, Tina Fey, neither of them are coming back. Jonah Hill doesn't look like his character is even going to be in it. And we haven't even heard Minion talk, but I doubt David Cross came back to voice him. So yeah, just I have no interest whatsoever checking out the series the movie first and then the series. Just yeah.
I can't believe they freaking touched Megamind after all this time.
Well, I hate that they're just like, oh, Megamind's getting such a huge, it's like actually getting the love it deserves, which it's about damn time. It's a great DreamWorks movie.
Yeah.
But the fact they're just like, you know what? Instead of doing a theatrical sequel like it deserves, let's do a TV movie, not bring back any of the original cast, and then only make the movie just so we can make the series right after.
Dude, it's freaking ridiculous, the shit that they pull.
I mean, at least with DreamWorks for this year, we get Kung Fu Panda 4. So I can't hate on them that much.
Yeah, well, that's a movie too.
Oh, I know.
Like we know the movie's going to be somewhat decent.
I hope so. But just the fact that like Kung Fu Panda is up to number 4, all of them got theatrical releases, and Megamind only gets a TV movie and a TV series when it comes to sequels. That's some bullshit.
That is some major bullshit. But man, yeah, that sucks. But I understand it to a point. But I would prefer more movies like Orion in the Dark.
I agree. because like I get why DreamWorks wants to do a bunch of sequels for their popular properties, but when DreamWorks does original stuff, they actually do pretty damn well. They do produce some good shit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily need like full on original. Like I it's tough. Like I would prefer something new, like like with a slightly higher quality animation than the shows, cuz the shows
Okay.
are hard to watch, dude.
Oh yeah, dude, freaking like I never watched it, but the Netflix Boss Baby show that they
Oh
did,
my
like
gosh.
that animation compared to the two films, like geez Louise, night and day.
Dude, Iris really liked watching that at one point, and I got to the point where I was like, I can't sit and watch this with you. This looks horrid.
That's fair. I mean, I'm sure that I never watched the show, but like is that kind of how it went from going from the animation for Paw Patrol in the series to the how the animation is in the movies?
My hopes weren't high for the movies,
Yeah.
but when I saw the animation, I was like, wow, that looked great. And then it jumped to the show, and I was like, ah,
Okay. So
because it,
kind of
yeah, because it was
like
the
the same
show's
thing.
first. It was the show's first, then the movie,
Yeah.
versus what DreamWorks is doing, where it's movie then show.
Yeah.
So yeah, so the jump between the Paw Patrol, it was I couldn't even say night and day. It was even more different than that. It was insane, like the quality, and I was like,
Because
that's
like
fantastic.
because I mean I don't know what how everyone thought about Paw Patrol 2, but like the animation alone, like that was some of the best I saw from last year.
Hmm.
Like that movie was beautiful.
Yeah, it was freaking great. And but yeah, the show, like jumping back into the show, it is hard to watch.
That sucks. It always sucks when that happens.
Yeah,
But
but
I mean, like, I don't like looking at I'm not giving DreamWorks a pass because you should always pay your workers what they deserve. And I don't know. Like I get why they want to make it cheaper for TV, but like come on. Like is it that hard to pay your workers? Is it that hard to pay animators what they truly deserve?
yeah, apparently it is.
Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah. But anyway, getting into this week's breakdown. If you are new to our breakdown system, we have split movies into 8 different categories that we individually score to come to a final All Bros letter grade. And the 8 categories that we score are story, writing, acting, character development, effects. But with this being an animated film, this is going to be talking about the animation, the music. Typically, we talk about costumes, but again, this being animated, we're going to talk about the character design, and then we will be giving it our own personal score at the very end. All of those numbers get magically added up and spit through our algorithm and give us an All Bros letter grade to compare this movie to others of a similar grade, as well as a ranking that is more fun than anything, despite what naysayers may say.
DJ. Excuse me. Sorry.
Yeah. So if you have not seen Orion and the Dark, it is currently on Netflix and it's worth a watch. So go check it
It
out.
is. And it's only an hour and a half. It's a
Yeah.
very quick one. Even like before the credits start rolling, it barely hits an hour 20.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very short watch.
Yeah. So with that, we will be posting our spoiler warning now as we get ready for our favorite segment that we like to call Reading with Rose.
Right. Orion is an elementary school boy with a seemingly never ending list of anxieties and irrational fears, such as bullies, the ocean, cell phone radiation, murderous gutter clowns, falling off tall buildings, and the fear of being rejected by his school crush. Sally, at an upcoming planetarium field trip. Um, that failed as a sentence wise. Um, but of all his fears, the thing he's the most afraid of is what he confronts on a nightly basis, the dark. One night, Orion becomes startled by a sudden blackout, and when he frantically curses the dark, the embodiment of his worst fear appears before him. Having grown irritated of hearing Orion complain about him, and offers to help the reluctant boy conquer his fears by showing him the benefits of darkness. During their travels, Dark introduces Orion to his other associates: sleep, insomnia, quiet, unexplained noises, and sweet dreams. Yeah, the unexplained noises, God, like the fact that they threw that character in, that just like freaking made this movie because it's so true. uh the others scold Dark for bringing Orion, knowing too well of his neuroticism. Dark is able to convince them to let him tag along to witness their work, to which they reluctantly agree. As they travel, Dark shows Orion what each of the night entities do. Quiet removes surrounding sounds, bringing nothing but silence. Sleep induces people to sleep. Insomnia induces anxiety in those who are sleeping, waking them up in the night. Unexplained noises makes various noises outside homes, and sweet dreams creates dreams. However, things start to go wrong when Orion, due to his own anxiety, interferes with the other entities' jobs. Eventually, Orion warms up to Dark and they start to become friends, and the young boy helps the night entities in their tasks. During a break in China, Orion learns that Dark has a nemesis named Light, who brings daylight in the mornings while Dark brings nighttime in the evenings. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but if you're a kid, shouldn't that be obvious that, oh, if there's the dark, there has to be the light?
Yeah, that was kind of a no shit for me too.
Oh man. Continuing their journey, Orion inadvertently remarks that light seems much more preferable to dark. Yeah, no shit. As light makes him feel safe and warm. Feeling dejected, the night entities abandon their nighttime duties in favor of working during the day. Angry and saddened that the others have abandoned him, Dark stops mid-flight, and he and Orion perch on a mountaintop. A guilty Orion pleads with Dark to move before light passes through him and disintegrates him. Dark doesn't move, and as light passes through him, he vanishes, abandoning Orion. Now alone, Orion sits on the mountaintop, which he realizes is actually the back of a flying turtle, consumed with guilt over what he has done. With the story ended, it was revealed that an adult Orion is telling the story to his daughter, Hypatia, to... Wow, sorry. With the story ended, it was revealed that an adult Orion is telling the story to his daughter, Hypatia, to help with her own fears. As they walk through the nighttime city to the planetarium, Hypatia is shocked by his ending and suggests a different narrative. As she takes over the story, Orion, now laying on the beach, is met by Hypatia, who promises to help him put things right. Reciting a poem she has written based on the story so far, the night entities are drawn to the beach, having witnessed the chaos that endless daylight brings without nighttime to keep the balance. Hypatia points out that Dark isn't necessarily gone, as he is a literal embodiment of Orion's worst fear. All he needs to do is sleep and dream about Dark. Wow, that was the end of a sentence. Wow. So all he needs to do is sleep and dream about Dark. With sweet dreams, help the two children enter Orion's subconscious and successfully summon Dark. However, the reunion is cut short when the closet door opens, revealing a black hole that sucks Dark in. Orion, finally learning to let go of his fears, jumps in to save his friend. The night entities realize that the only way to save them all is to wake Orion up, but all their attempts fail until Quiet sucks all sound from the area and softly tells Orion it is time to wake up. Dark manifests, restoring the natural order of the world and returning the children to... Returning the children to Orion's house before bidding them farewell. This leaves them with a problem, as Hypatia is now 20 years old in her own past with no way to return home. The story is resolved as a boy named Tycho. Tycho or Tico?
I think it's Tico.
Tico arrives in a time machine to return Hypatia to her proper place. The story ends again and is revealed as an adult Hypatia telling the story to her son Tycho, finishing the story. Wow, my God. The story ends again and is revealed as an adult Hypatia telling the story to her son Tycho. Finishing the story, Hypatia goes outside to say goodnight to her father and mother, the now much older Orion and Sally, as the scene cuts back to the start of the film with a young Orion and Sally gazing at the stars on the planetarium field trip.
All right. All right, starting off with story. Dude, I gotta say, I did not care for the structure.
That's fair. I don't know about you. And I mean, maybe it's just because the dark, and it reminded me a lot of oh my God, I forget his name. But this just reminded me a lot of Rise of the Guardians.
A little bit, yeah.
Right? God, what was the villain's name in that movie?
It wasn't just
Was
Nightmare, was it?
it wasn't
Or-
Fear either, right?
Oh gosh, let's see.
Yeah, that's gonna bug me. Which is funny because that's also a Dreamworks movie.
Yeah, Pitch Black.
Pitch, yeah. Oh yeah. They would just call him Pitch.
Yeah.
Yes, I do remember that now. Yeah, no, so yeah, I got some vibes from that movie with this. But yeah, I definitely agree with you. The structure was kind of all over the place here.
Dude, was the freaking transition between Orion's story and then how it like instantly freaking snapped into adult Orion telling the story? That felt freaking like super sudden to me.
Yeah, it did. And reading the synopsis, I kind of got a little bit confused. Because they really jump around a lot with the story. And like there are some entities, what is it? Insomnia, sleeping, no, was it nighttime noises? Sorry, I'm horrible with names. Like those kind of characters, I get why they that you wanted them in there. I don't know. I wish that they do a decent job at explaining why they're there. You know, it makes sense, but I wish that they could have done just a little better job because I don't know. Personally, I would have been fine if it was just the dark and the light. I don't know if you necessarily needed all the side characters explaining why people are so afraid of the dark, or like what causes them to not I guess like not sleep. I don't know, like they did a decent job, but if I'm like trying to, and I'm not trying to dumb down the story here, but if I think that you could have done without them, in my opinion. Hell, you could have actually even made a interesting more story about the rivalry between the dark and the light.
I feel you absolutely could have. Like especially with like the same personalities too.
Yeah.
Like I think you could have done a lot with that, but they dropped the ball.
Yeah, they really did. It's kind of interesting how much critics have loved this movie because it's in the 80s, I believe. But
They need to freaking stop kissing up to the studios.
but the audience score is in the 60s, I believe.
I would buy that. That's I will say that does seem a little bit low, but I
I
understand.
agree. Yeah. But yeah, here so critic score, excuse me, is at an 89.
Holy shit.
And audience scores at a 65.
I'm leaning more towards audience on this one.
Yeah, like, this is the kind of movie that I'm just like, I'm right in between. Just like,
Dude, what is the metric for these freaking critics?
dude, that's what sucks about Rotten Tomatoes. Like, it's all over the place. Like, even if you give it like a like say your cutoff for like a good review is like 2.5 out of 5 stars, that's considered a good review. Or no, okay, no, let's say 3. If you give it a 3 or higher, even though you point out like, hey, like it's not great, but I still thought it was decent. The story was okay. The pacing was it was all right. But there were things that I enjoyed about it. So I would give it a 3 out of 5, which in my eyes would like go for like a C, C plus. But Rotten Tomatoes being like, oh, that's all we can give it is just like a positive tomato, so add that to the list of positive reviews. So I feel that with, I mean, I can't speak personally for other reviewers, but with this one I feel a lot of them were just like, okay, you know what, it's not DreamWorks best, but it's not DreamWorks worse. It's decent, it's all right, it's not bad, but it's not great. But Rotten Tomatoes being like, oh, you still gave it a fresh score, so we have to put it in as fresh, and that's why it's so damn high.
Dude, I was listening to another podcast and they just became Rotten Tomatoes critics.
Oh, hell yeah.
And I was super excited for them. And it was something that I was trying to get, like, sign us up to do too.
Yeah.
As soon as I heard, like, once they, like, their application got accepted and everything, and they're like, yeah, so apparently, like, they don't do it based off of like a star rating. Like, you either give it a positive or a negative review. Like, you either say you recommend it or you don't recommend it, and that's how it like calculates the percentage. And I'm like, that is horseshit.
Yeah.
And so I was like, yeah, no, I stopped the application process. And I'm like,
good call, because yeah, what about movies that you're in the middle with? Like, you didn't love it, but you didn't hate it.
yeah,
That's bullshit.
This is why the All Bros method is the method, because it takes into consideration like what's great about a movie, what's not great about a movie, and gives you like what I feel is like a fairly accurate score.
Oh, I agree. Unless you're DJ. Sorry. Love you, DJ.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, the story structure was just not good. It felt like they were shifting because it seemed like we were getting like just a basic narration. Because I mean, at the beginning, it started off with, "Hey, I'm Orion, and I have all these fears and anxieties, and blah 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 blah," and then it shifts into like that's a weird thing to add into the story, and like the shit.
Like, I will admit, like the first probably like 10 minutes, I absolutely loved. It's when the dark decides to take him on this adventure, lost me a little bit. But like everything with like him being afraid of his crush, everything with his parents, I thought that was really good stuff. I'm almost 30, but the way that they set up Orion, I feel he's a very relatable kid. But when you bring in all of this other stuff, all these entities of night and day, just I don't know, somewhat lost me a little bit.
Yeah, they lost me a lot of bit. It was
fair enough.
It was all right, but it left a lot to be desired.
Like you said, you can understand why it went to streaming and it did not go to theaters.
Yeah, the story was just not on par with DreamWorks' other properties.
Like it's hard to, because like DreamWorks especially recently have come out with like some of the greatest animated films I've seen in forever. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. So it's hard seeing movies like this that are just kind of like, they're just all right. They're like mediocre DreamWorks movies, and then just looking at Puss in Boots 2, which is like an absolute masterpiece. Like many, I feel some would consider DreamWorks magnum opus at this point, or
I
maybe
would
that's
say
still
that.
Shrek. But just it sucks because it was, I feel it was the same way with Pixar up until Cars 2, because we were all just like, oh, they can't do anything wrong. Pixar is perfect. And then Cars 2 well, I don't know. Up until that point, like everyone, there was not one Pixar movie, at least from what I've saw, that like people like absolutely hated.
Like before
Pixar,
Cars 2?
before Cars 2,
Yeah,
like all the,
pre-Cars 2, Pixar was the king.
yeah, they could do no wrong. But yeah, then Cars 2 came out, then just, a lot of other movies after that. Some better than others. There were times, there are movies in in the catalog after Toy Story 3 that are actually up to Pixar standards, but there are a lot that are not.
Yeah. Freaking sucks. But
Yeah,
this story, dude, it didn't do it for me.
yeah. I mean, I know that it's a different story, but in the for how much it reminded me of it, I feel they did it this kind of what is it? Not this kind of story, but just the way that I felt with the story. I feel they did it better in Rise of the Guardians.
Absolutely. Honestly, I think I'm sitting at like a solid 70 with the story.
Dude,
I'm not very high.
Dude, why is my grading system being stupid? Okay, sorry. My grading system is being dumb for some reason. There we go. Yeah, dude, I think I'm gonna agree with you. Like, I can't drop it to the 60s, just because it is not that bad.
Yeah, I mean,
But
it had redeeming qualities and it was like a good quality film. It was just as average can get.
yes, I agree. So yeah, 70 is the highest I would be willing to give it.
Writing, on the other hand, I can absolutely drop it down into the 60s.
Yeah, writing wasn't that great either.
It was so plain.
Yeah.
And it was I don't know about you, it felt odd. Like,
But
what pissed me off too is that what's her face, Hypatia, she was pointing out issues with her dad's story. And I'm like,
yeah.
fix it,
Yeah.
sir. And he wasn't. Like none of those
Oh,
issues got resolved or fixed. Like she pointed out like the big thing is when she realized that he was still afraid of the dark in real life. And she's like, "Oh, well, Orion in the story should still be afraid of the dark." And then they incorporate that. And then at the end, he seems like he's not afraid of the dark anymore.
yeah.
And so it's just like you just counter, like you mess with your own like lines that you're making there. Like you said, "Oh, we should make him so he's still scared at the end." And guess what you didn't do?
Yeah, and I don't know, maybe it's just me with being an adult, but they put way too much detail on the dark as a whole. I don't know what happened to just being the dark. Like, do you really need to explain why the dark is the way that it is? Like, I get, like, I don't know, like I get that they needed to turn this into a full-length movie. But I
Dude,
don't
if
know.
you were to tell me that this is like a prequel to Rise of the Guardians, I would absolutely believe you.
That's fair.
As like this is what happened before Pitch became Pitch Black.
Yeah, dude, that's fair. Yeah, just like, yeah, the writing for the dark was just way too detailed. It didn't need to be this detailed. And for how much, like, I get that, the whole story is supposed to be focused on the dark, but with that, like, the light barely didn't get anything to do. So I don't know. I feel like the plot should have been split evenly between them, because you can't have dark without the light, and you can't have light without the dark. But whatever. Like I pointed out with the plot, just the other characters that they add to this with insomnia, the weird noises, just unfortunately didn't work as much as I'm sure that they had hoped to, in my opinion.
Dude, I was very disappointed with what we got here. The way that I would have personally restructured this movie would have been where Dark comes and interacts with Orion for a certain amount of days, where he's constantly home, and then each night is Orion overcoming a fear. And so it's
Okay,
like,
yeah, I
hey,
like
you got a fear of clogging the toilet, and then it's just like, I don't know, like he goes and deals with that. Like he's like goes like, I don't know, something dumb.
that is
Like
just that.
I like that's
That's just such
probably a bad
specific
example.
fear.
I know, like that. It's probably one of those.
That's a funny as hell fear. Fear of clogging the toilet.
I don't know. Maybe like maybe you should have chosen different fears. Like ones that are a little bit more generic, like the clowns. Like I think it would have been interesting for him to be like afraid of clowns, and then like there's a clown at school that like scares the hell out of him, and then that night Dark takes him to like the clown's house, and he realizes that the clown is just a normal person, and all that, and just kind of like humanizes, I don't know, just something along
No,
those lines, where it's you're dealing with that fear, and
yeah,
then
no, that's
eventually you
fair.
get to
I
the
like
point
that.
of dealing with his fear of the dark.
Yeah, I like that.
Like that's how I would have like restructured it. Instead of this like, I'm gonna cure your fear of the dark in one night. I'm like, no.
No.
Yeah, like you could still had the nighttime entities and everything, and have him show like, oh, this is what the dark, or what dark brings to the world. It brings these other entities that supply a service to the world and whatnot, and all that good stuff. Yeah, I think that that could have been done a lot better, and very disappointed that they didn't.
Yeah.
But I do got to say, there is one thing from this movie that I took away, and I actually kind of liked and thought was funny. It was Sleep. And I thought that shit was so funny, dude.
Sleep was great.
Yeah, the way that she just like freaking smothers that dude with a magic pillow, and then like gives a little kiss on the head, and then flies off. I'm like, dude, what? And then the freaking chloroform just like, I'm like, dude, this is freaking hilarious. And then like when the hammer came, I was like, oh shit.
Oh
Like,
shit. Yeah, no, that was some good stuff.
Yeah, that
Most
was
definitely.
probably the best writing of the movie.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Everything else was just kind of dog shit. That's being harsh. That's but I mean, even like the lead up, the whole lead up to this was so Hypatia would share her poem, and even her poem was just, it was very long-winded. This whole movie, dude, for a kids movie, it needs to be easy to swallow, and this was not.
Yeah. And
like
the
it was
fact
so
that
everything was so long-winded and just using super big words and stuff that that kids don't get.
Yeah.
Like this is more of a movie it's advertised as one for young kids. It is written for young teens.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, like literally, you have to be in middle school to like really get the idea for most of the ideas that are portrayed here.
Yeah, it no bueno. Where are you sitting with writing?
I'm gonna agree with you. Definitely in the 60s. But like maybe just barely below. So I'll go like a 68.
I'm actually just a hair below you, sitting at a 67.
All right, fair enough.
All right, next up we got acting. So going through this cast list, we have Jacob Tremblay, who voiced Orion. We have Paul Walter Hauser, who voiced Dark. Colin Hanks voiced adult Orion. Is that Natasha?
I think so.
Yeah, Natasha Demetrio, who voiced Sleep. Angela Bassett, who voiced Sweet Dreams. Mia Akemi Brown, who voiced Hypatia. Oh, and that's it. Yeah. So what's your top 3 look like?
All right, first, I just want to point something out. Nothing against Jacob Tremblay, like great actor, but the fact that he's supposed to be a kid portrayed in elementary school, Jacob Tremblay's voice now is way too high, or not way too low for
I
it.
was like too high.
Yeah, it's way too low now. Like if he was in middle school going through puberty, completely could understand why his voice was chosen, but his voice is way too deep to be in elementary, in my opinion.
Dude, this is the tough thing that you deal with kid actors. They do not have a very long window of being able to pull off young.
Because like this is like the first I feel, at least for me, actual like acting I've seen of Jacob Tremblay when it's his like actual voice now, because even in The Little Mermaid he still had his little kid voice. He hadn't hit puberty yet, and so like his voice is fine, like don't get me wrong, he's still a really good actor. It's just it kind of took me out a little bit. Like it's like, no, a kid that young, a voice that deep should not be coming out.
Yeah, especially with everyone else's voices being really high in that like 8 or the other kids that we heard.
Yeah.
it definitely pulled me out of it too.
Yeah. But so when it comes to my ranking, number 3, I'll give to Natasha Demetrio. Sleep. Yeah, freaking hilarious. Loved her performance. She was fantastic. Number 2, even though I just shat on him, I would give, actually, wait, no, number 2, because I actually really like, well, okay, sorry. Number 2, I'll give to Jacob Tremblay, even though I just shat on him. Like even though the voice threw me off, he still gave a really good performance. He made Orion very relatable. And God, yeah, especially with that list of fears that he had. Like, I get it, man, but like, damn, it's like, geez, kid.
Yeah, maybe you're too anxious.
Yeah, a little bit. So yeah, number 2, I'd give to Jacob Tremblay. But number 1, I got to give to Paul Walter Hauser, who played the Dark. Fantastic. He did a really good job, even though I didn't love everything about the Dark. I feel that they went way too much into explanation of who he is as a character. The voice performance was fantastic. But I mean, it's Paul Walter Hauser. He's great in anything he does.
Dude, did you get the vibe that maybe this role was written for Seth Rogen?
A little bit, yeah, dude. When I first heard it, I actually thought this was Danny McBride. A little bit.
Ooh, you're not wrong.
He sounded a little bit like him.
Yeah, I assumed it was freaking Seth Rogen until I saw a clip or whatever, and it showed that he was the voice. I'm like, he has a very distinct voice in most of the roles that he plays.
That's true. I mean,
And
I think he definitely deepened his voice for this one. I'm not used to his
oh yeah,
voice being
for
this deep.
sure, absolutely deepened it.
Yeah.
But he also kind of talks with like I wouldn't even. It's not like a lisp. It's just I don't even know how to like. There's just a certain way that he talks where it's like he's not quite opening his mouth all the way.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from.
So it's just like there's a lot of like I don't even know how to describe what he's doing. that's pissing me off. Yeah, never mind. I don't know what the hell I was trying to say there, but it's just there's a very distinct way that he talks in other shows and stuff that didn't match this, and it felt like he was mimicking Seth Rogen a little bit.
No, that's fair. Sorry, I actually am gonna change my number 3 if that's cool with you.
Yeah, sure.
I would actually change it to Colin Hanks. I'm sorry, especially the ending with how he finally like you actually see that he ended up with oh my god, I forgot her name. Sally. I feel throughout, like, even though, like, you get more young Orion, I feel like Colin Hanks does a really good job as the adult Orion, and actually does decently with bringing emotion to the adult version. And
dude, that ending was so undeserved.
yeah, I will agree with you there.
I was so pissed. Like, I was like, all right, cool. He's wrapping up this story. Like, okay, like weird. Like, he's bringing in some rando time traveler now. That's funky. And then it's adult Hypatia. I'm like, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
You didn't earn this.
You're not wrong. You are not wrong. But yeah, so that would be my top 3. What are yours?
Okay, my number 1, I mean, I'm going to agree with you. I'm giving it to Paul Walter Hauser. And I'm also going to give my number 2 to Jacob Tremblay, exactly like you.
Let's go.
My number 3, on the other hand, I'm actually going to be giving to Angela Bassett, who voiced Sweet Dreams.
That's a great choice.
Yeah, she just has a freaking power with her voice.
She does. She is amazing. She truly is. She really needs to do more voice work.
Yeah. Better writing, though. She needs better writing.
Very true.
She could have, like, I don't know. I think they could have done so much better with this, given us more of a Guardians vibe. Like, I actually would have preferred a freaking Guardians sequel where maybe like the Dark is the person who took over Pitch Black.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, I think that they had planned to do a bunch of or at least like another like 2 sequels with Rise of the Guardians, but for how much it costed, I think it's still arguably their most expensive animated film that they ever made. And the little I mean, it did decently at the box office, but not as much as they wanted to, that they canceled sequel plans.
Lame.
I know, right? Because yeah, that movie's so good. Freaking love Rise of the Guardians.
Dude, I feel like that one that got like freaking canned too quickly, because that was a really good movie. The other one I'm remembering being really good was the freaking Guardians of Ga'Hoole.
Yeah, dude, freaking 2 Guardians movies just freaking canned. The only successful Guardians movie was Guardians of the Galaxy, and that's it.
Yeah.
Apparently people just don't like Guardians.
It definitely seems like it. At least in that time, there was a lot of good movies during that period that were getting canned, I feel.
Yeah. But yeah, dude, freaking speaking of Rise of the Guardians, the Owls of just Guardians, the Owls of Ga'Hoole, whatever it was called. Yeah, I agree with you that definitely deserved a sequel. That is one of the most pretty animated films I've ever seen.
Yeah, that shit is stunning to this day.
Like that scene where it's like the slow-mo of them flying through the rain. One of the greatest animated sequences I've ever seen in my entire life.
That's probably where all their budget went.
Yeah, that shit is beautiful. So yeah, I can understand what. So the budget for Rise of the Guardians was 145 million. Box office
Damn.
was only 306 million. So it
It's not
barely
as
broke even.
I feel like you could have made that work though.
Yeah, I mean, because I feel that
Like I think now would be the time to do something like that. Where it seems to have like a bit of a following now, because I've seen a lot of shit about Guardians on TikTok lately.
yeah, okay. I mean, I don't know. I just hope that it wouldn't turn into the hey, everyone's talking about Megamind. Let's
Oh yeah,
yeah, let's
fair
let's
point.
not. I don't want to go down that road. But I feel that the author of the books wouldn't do that. They would make sure that their characters. Who is the author? Because from what I see on Wikipedia, um, William. So William Joyce mentioned in March 2013 that he was still in talks about a sequel with DreamWorks Animation. He said there's something that we are proposing that we hope they will want to do. Yeah, that didn't come to fruition.
Yeah, shocker.
But I hope that if DreamWorks did approach him about doing a sequel and they're just like, oh yeah, let's do an animated or let's do a sequel movie that will just go on Peacock and then we'll do a sequel series, he'd be like, no, please.
Yeah.
Do not
No
do
thanks.
just disjustice to those amazing characters.
Mm-hmm. All right, where are you sitting with acting?
Like the acting's good, it's just the script isn't that great. So like acting, I probably like put it like a little above story, or maybe a decent amount above story. I'd probably be at like a 70. I'll go with 78.
Yeah. I was leaning more towards like 76. It was, I mean, they were good. They were good performances, but I think the script did them no favors whatsoever.
True that.
And I think that just kind of like went into their performance or how it was like portrayed, because like at times it definitely felt like maybe they were phoning it in a bit,
Yeah.
and then others where they were giving you like some real heart, but those moments were so few and far between.
True that.
Like even Angela Bassett couldn't have even saved this if she tried. So
Yeah.
but she was definitely like a shining star of that, so that's why I'm going to give it a 76. All right, next up we got character development. I don't even know how to rate this. This was a story that he was making up.
That's true. Yeah, but I don't know. I still feel this is kind of one of the stronger categories, at least a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some growth, not much though.
Yeah.
Dude, you want to know the shittiest thing? I thought he was like finally like Team Dark.
Yeah.
Like, okay, like finally, like he'd overcome like this particular fear, and then it's just like out of nowhere, they were going into some dark cabin, and then he's like, "Ooh, now I'm nervous."
Yeah.
Like, dude, what? You've
No,
been
dude,
flying around
seriously.
with darkness, the entity.
You shouldn't be scared of shit at this point.
Yeah. I'm like, you freaking conquered darkness, dude.
Yeah. You can do anything.
Yeah, but now you don't want to fly into a scary cabin? Little bitch.
Damn. There was one thing that I mean, I'm not a parent, so I'm curious what you would think. When he goes and wakes up his parents at the end, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you slept for a day. I didn't want to disturb you guys." I'd be so freaking pissed at my child. I'd be like, I could have lost my job in this time frame.
Yeah. So what's the plan now? Like, is everything just back asswards?
I don't know, but they glossed over that so fast. Like, oh hey,
dude, glossed over that? What about the fact that another rando child from a different freaking city?
That's true.
It's
Just
just like at
that
their
whole
house.
interaction was just so weird. Can you take her home? Oh my god. Maybe my parents could adopt you. I'm like, that is your daughter, dude. Like,
Yeah, and like, what did you think the plan? Like, why did you even bother to go and like wake up your parents
yeah.
and be like, "Oh, could you take her home?" Did you not think, "Oh, her home is 20 years in the future, you dumb shit"?
Oh man. I mean, he is an elementary kid. I guess got to give him some excuse.
Well, he's freaking stupid. And what pisses me off too is neither of them were smart enough to be able to think of time travel on their own.
Yeah, that's true.
Like freaking dumb. Freaking dumb.
Oh shit.
But yeah, it's just like the thought process through that was just super dumb. But I mean, it's hard to say that he had certain growth but he still was like quite fearful at the end. Like it's just like the only fear that I feel like he might have overcome was darkness. Everything else was like totally glanced over. So this is why I felt like maybe him dealing with individual fears would have helped him significantly.
Yeah.
So it's it didn't do it for me.
Yeah, fair enough. Honestly, same here for the most part.
Any arc that he supposedly went on was just ruined time and time again. Like it felt like he was experiencing growth and then the cabin. And then he just straight up turns against darkness, and then darkness is like, "All right, peace out. Like here comes the light." And then they go and grab him from Orion's dreams. Like what the shit was that?
Yeah, that was freaking weird.
Yeah, it's just like the only way that I would have felt like they could have brought darkness back is like by creating darkness.
Yeah, that would have made much more sense. I don't know, like I know it's a completely different movie, but I what I appreciated about Rise of the Guardians is with like the death of Sandman, the stakes were actually raised. Like it actually felt like, you know, stuff like that, you know, truly detrimental stuff could happen in this kind of universe. And because that they were able to just get dark back like that, like freaking lost any sign of that in this movie.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, so he's like this immortal being that just kind of like you can bring back because he's an idea in your mind. Like, I don't understand that.
Yeah.
Like, or even like what they were attempting to do. But yeah, they freaking glossed over his Orion's other fears and didn't even feel like he was like facing them. It's just they just happened to be around because he was in his own mind or whatever. It's just meh.
Yeah.
They didn't pull this off at all. And any development that Orion did have, either as an adult or a kid, felt very unearned.
Yeah. Yeah, I can definitely agree with that.
So character development, I'm probably sitting around my acting or my writing score. Like I might go a little bit higher, sitting at like a 68. It's just
Yeah. I think I'm gonna match you. 68.
All right, next up we got animation. This one was a little bit of a letdown.
It was, yeah. I mean, like I appreciate DreamWorks for trying something different here. This is definitely not like what we're used to with DreamWorks. But yeah, it was kind of just all right. Like I liked it. It worked for the movie. But just like like it's understandable why this went to streaming, because it is not on the levels of DreamWorks animation, because DreamWorks has made some of the most beautiful animated films that I've seen. Gonna talk about it again: Puss in Boots, The Last Wish, Rise of the Guardians. They know how to make some beautifully animated films. But it seems that when they try to deteriorate from what they're used to, what they usually do when it comes to their animation style, you kind of feel let down.
When their quality drops, it drops a lot.
Yeah. I mean, this is definitely nowhere on the level of their like TV specials.
Oh no.
But like the animation for what it is, it's good. I did like the animation. It works for this movie, but it's definitely not up to the full standards of DreamWorks. But I liked it. I thought it was good. I did not hate the animation.
No, I didn't either. Like, it wasn't the worst thing that I've ever seen, and I'm not trying to compare this to like Puss in Boots by any stretch of the imagination. Like, I knew going in this wasn't going to be Puss in Boots. Like, I went into this more thinking it was going to be along the lines of like the Peanuts movie.
That's a good comparison. Different studio, but
yeah, I know.
I'm sorry, I had to point that out.
I know, asshole.
I'm sorry.
Gosh, I knew I was going to catch shit for that comment too. But no, like, I thought it was going to be along those lines, maybe a lower quality version of that, and I wasn't completely wrong with that. There were a lot of moments that I could tell that there was just something odd about the movement, and I think what it was missing was like a motion blur, because it felt like very like he was like, it was always when he was like flailing, and like I noticed it when he was going up against the bully, like Richie or something, and anytime he was doing like a lot of movement in one scene, and like I said, doing like flailing, there wasn't any like motion blur on it, so it felt like very like choppy.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. Really quick, because I'm gonna bring up the story. Can we talk about that bully? Because
Can you talk about the most useless person to be ever be thrown into a movie?
Because one, like, I get, he was doing bully things, but I don't know the way that he was like, him, like, I don't know, like, he was a bully, but some of his actions, I'm just like, you know what? Maybe it's just me and I'm an asshole, but I would have done the same shit.
Yeah. I don't feel like anyone's able to properly write bullies.
I think what sucks is, I mean, I guess this doesn't suck because bullying is bullshit. Don't do it. Because it can wreck someone's life. If you want to see why.
Hot take, Rose.
I know, right? Well, no, I'm just shut up, asshole.
Bullying is bad, kids.
Here we go. Here's an example of bullying right here on the Allbros.
When I'm bullying you, you'll know.
I mean, if you really want a good example of what bullying can do to somebody, go watch the documentary Bully. That shit will F you up. That shit is so
dude,
sad.
no joke.
Yeah. But with bullying, it changes with every generation. Like, with like the old generation, like literally it was just, like punching, like actually bullying. Well, I get like bullying can be so many different things, but like actually beating someone up, freaking knocking shit out of their hands, swirly shit like that. That was the old bullying. And nowadays, it's really not physical anymore. It's really
it's all mental.
Yeah, it's mental bullying. You can, like, at least back then you could once you left school, you got that break from bullying. Now I feel so bad for kids going through bullying because you don't escape it. Even when you go home, there's all the social media, everything like that. You're still going to get bullied through Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, all this shit. You can't escape bullying. And it freaking sucks. I feel really bad for kids this generation. I mean, it was kind of the same thing with us, but thank God I never got bullied. And I'm very grateful for that. But just, yeah, it's so crazy how far bullying's come. And that's what sucks about when when they try to portray it in film, is because the bullying that you're so used to, with, you know, like the physical beating up, that's always the bullying that I think of. But if you're thinking about what bullying is nowadays, it's really not that. Like you said, it's all mental.
Yeah, I think I had a pretty decent leg up when it came to that kind of bullying, like the mental games on social media, because I didn't have a Facebook till I was like 14.
Hmm.
And by the time I got one, I didn't care enough to use it.
Yeah, that's true. Caleb did not.
Yeah, like I'd use it every once in a while, and anytime I see those memories where I like some of my like
Oh
first posts,
God, dude.
nothing makes me want to jump in front of a car faster.
Same here. Oh my
Um,
God, dude. Freaking, yeah, like there was one a couple months ago that because I don't know, when you first started Facebook, you never put like I or like
no,
some you.
it was because it would say your name, and then it was like it'd be like Caleb Albers is or was, and you could like type whatever after.
Yeah, that's true. So like freaking one that popped up a couple months ago was
It's like
just
so
like
dumb.
Jonathan Rose's book just came into the library. Oh yeah, like some shit like that. I'm like, oh my hell. Oh good lord. Yeah, dude.
Dude,
Oh
this is a freaking I learned how to put shapes in a Facebook post,
yeah.
and they had different directions. Have I told you about this?
No, I don't think you have. Sorry, like there's just like one memory that I'm just like, what the fuck was I thinking?
Okay.
Sorry, you
So
go
yeah,
for it.
there's a post I made after I learned how to add shapes onto a post. And it would like I could add like triangles. So I put random like direction of triangles, and then at the end I put oops, drop my Doritos.
Jesus, jeez Louise.
That popped up as a memory, and I didn't touch my phone the rest of the day. I was like, I can't live past Caleb right now.
Dude, freaking, I couldn't with past Jonathan when I put, I want to marry a trampoline. And one of my buddies from elementary is just like, okay, question mark. And I'm just like, I just really love trampolines.
Gosh, dude, we were so dumb.
Oh man. Good lord.
But yeah, I relate more to like this type of bullying where it is very direct and almost physical, because I was bullied in elementary school,
Hey, same.
and yeah, it was like I said, it was instantly physical, and I I don't know if I've ever shared this story. There was this kid, this little ginger punk that like constantly like was getting on my case over everything, and I'm like, dude, I don't think about you outside of this facility. Like, why are you so freaking like bothered by me? Because it was like anything I did, he'd make a comment about it or whatever, and I'm like, dude, I don't care. Like, you are so far down on my list of concerns and worries. Like, you're not even a freaking spark note. And I think that bothered him. Um, and I remember it was like winter, and we were outside for recess or whatever, and my mom had just bought me these gloves with like little zippers in the hand, and
Okay.
I could put stuff like in them, but it was cool because it kind of went down into the knuckles a little bit. And I was a freaking weird kid, and I went around and freaking was like finding rocks and shit because there was like a little creek that was um by the playground that we would kind of like sneak down and go and like play around with. Like someone dug, like there was a hole going down and like down to this little creek, so that's where we would all like sneak down, like me and my friends, and I would just like gather rocks and shit. And so I was putting rocks in my gloves because I'd find like little cool ones like that. Because like I said, I was a weirdo. And
I
so
wouldn't say that's weird. I thought a lot of kids did that, but I mean, I was weird too. So I can't say
yes.
anything.
Yeah. When I look back on it, I'm like, that was an odd choice. But yeah, so
I
I
did
was
the same thing as
I was
a kid,
stuffing them in my
so
glove, and a lot of the rocks were going down into my knuckles. And so the bell rang, we went to go line up, and this kid had just freaking someone pissed in his Cheerios because he started throwing this basketball at my head, and I gave him 2 times. He threw it once, and I turned around, I was like, I'm going to assume that's an accident. It better not happen again. He threw it a second time, and I was like, dude, like now that I know that was on purpose, you have one more chance to stop. And he threw it again. Luckily, it didn't hit me, but I swung and just bop right across his face, dropped him like a sack of flour. And then he went running in crying like a little bitch. And I was like, I started realizing my hand was kind of sore, and I was like, what the and I realized I forgot I had rocks in my glove.
oh
And I
shit.
was like, oh no.
Ooh.
Yeah, I messed this kid's face up. And so yeah, I freaking like everyone went in. I hung back at like the back of the line and freaking was like emptying out my gloves. I'm like, I don't need freaking assault with a deadly weapon on my my record.
Oh man.
But
Holy
yeah,
shit.
my mom was called. I explained the situation to her. That kid ended up getting in trouble. I think he got sent off to military school. So I hope your life sucked.
Oh shit.
So anyway, tying this back in, I relate to that kind of bullying, and I believe he was overwritten.
Damn, I don't have any stories about actually standing up to bullying. Literally, all I got, there was this one girl that like literally would stab me with a lead pencil, all throughout second grade, or was it first grade? I think it was first grade. Yeah, like all throughout class, she would just stab me with a lead pencil. Didn't do anything about it. And then there was this one kid that would always take my lunch. So yeah, but didn't do anything about it.
Yeah, I mean, you know who my family was. I was raised by assholes, so I was raised to deal with it.
I wasn't gonna say that, but I'm
Yeah.
just
Well,
kidding. I'm
I was
kidding.
always taught like you give someone the benefit of the doubt, which is what I did with that kid. And then if you give them one chance to like correct their actions, and if they attempt to do it again, then you can go and jack up their day.
What? Why do I have a feeling your dad was the kind of person that, like, literally one of the first things that he shows you is, here, see, son, this is the kind of math that I want to show you. See, like he shows you a graph. He's just like, see, there's fuck around, and then there's find out. The more you fuck around,
Dude,
the more you're gonna
that was
find
more or
out. See?
less the conversation that my dad and I had when I got home, because I
Oh
got
shit!
suspended because I freaking threw a punch, and
Yeah.
he was the only, like, obviously, like, the dude was freaking like his face was busted
All right.
because like I have 2 younger brothers. I guess who knows how to throw a punch.
Fair. Yeah.
And I freaking like, dude, when I say I clocked this kid, I freaking rocked his world.
Oh, dude, I believe it. I mean, freaking
It was straight up
I don't know.
Mike
I know your
Tyson's
strength, man.
knockout.
Growing up with you, I know your strength. So,
And then like
but
throw in the freaking like brass knuckle equivalent of
yeah,
rock,
freaking.
dude. Like,
I still remember you freaking punching me for always saying sorry. I still have the bruises to prove it.
yeah.
I will say though, I am sorry that you have to now mark this episode explicit.
I don't care. I mark all of them explicit.
Oh, okay, cool.
Dude, I always sit there like I used to, like when I cared about like whether or not you actually said that.
Yeah.
Not that I cared. I was just like I was trying to figure out. I'm like, all right, did he say anything? I don't think so. And then I won't mark it. But now I'm just like, screw it.
All right, cool.
Marked. But yeah, well,
animation.
Yeah, animation. The animation was not top tier, but it was still pretty good.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Like, where would you end up putting this?
I'd say, because I thought I had a good time with the animation, so I'd probably say I'm at like an 84.
I am actually a little bit higher than you, sitting at an 87.
Oh yeah,
like there wasn't enough of a problem for me to be like, oh yeah, this was like super awful.
Yeah,
like I'm definitely knocking off for some of the jankiness, but I mean I really like the transitions between like the light and dark when they were like traveling. I thought those were cool.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, I'm gonna go a point higher. It deserves a little higher than that, so I'm gonna go an 85.
All right, next up we got music.
I don't remember anything special about this.
I don't either.
Were there any pop songs in this movie?
There was a couple. They weren't like really pop songs. It felt more like indie music.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Which I didn't hate, but I mean,
no,
it was
just
meh.
Yeah, didn't really stand. Nothing really stood out.
Yeah, and I think when doing something like that where it's a little bit more indie, you're gonna run into that issue.
That's true. Yeah.
Honestly, I probably like 6 out of 10 if I'm being real generous here.
I was thinking the same thing. I find it funny that even though we can have different scores now when it comes to music and costumes, mostly we're still on the same page.
Yeah, pretty much. That's because we've just accidentally trained ourselves to do it.
That's true.
All right, next up we got character design.
I feel this is one of the high points of the movie, just because the way that dark looked, light, all the other entities.
I freaking loved Insomnia.
Yeah. Isn't wait, no, that's anxiety. But I swear insomnia is also another one of the emotions, isn't it? For Inside Out 2? Or wait, no, that's not an emotion.
For Inside Out 2, that's anxiety.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, yeah, sorry, I don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah, Insomnia is I don't know. Did you ever watch Big Mouth on Netflix?
I watched the first season and then I stopped.
Okay. So Insomnia's design looks a lot like the anxiety mosquito.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, like you said you watched the first, or
I mean, dude, like this.
Oh wait, not Big Mouth. So the spin-off series that they did, Human Resources.
I did not watch that.
Oh, okay. So there's a character called the anxiety mosquito. Let me see if that's actually, yeah, she's Tito, the anxiety mosquito.
Oh, good Lord.
But yeah, so her design looks a lot like Insomnia's.
Okay.
obviously like colorization and everything's different, but like the super long nose and everything, like that's all on par with that. But the strange noises, like being a robot, was fun. Sleep, basically being a Muppet.
Yeah,
Freaking love that shit.
that was good.
Yeah. Then Quiet being a mouse, dude. I loved Quiet.
That was perfect.
Yeah, and then Sweet Dreams just being like that cosmic looking entity was really good.
Yeah.
I liked that they had like darkness and light, or dark and light looked pretty similar, almost like they could have been like brothers.
I did like that too. It made complete sense.
Yeah. And obviously they had like their different looks where Light was a little bit more like beach dude. It seemed like he had like a long beard, sunglasses, and all that, like just that plucky attitude.
Yeah.
And then Dark like looked like he was in like a dark trench coat, or like, would you say it's like trench coat or more robe? Because he
I mean,
had some like major death vibes.
yeah, I could feel you could go either way, but maybe more so leaning towards trench coat.
Yeah. But I mean, he looked cool too.
He did.
I didn't care for the human characters, like how they looked.
I liked the humans. I didn't really have a problem with them.
Mm.
I thought it was decent.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I mean, the issues that I did have, they don't affect them too much, but I think this is maybe an 8 out of 10.
Damn, I thought you were gonna be a 7, and I was gonna be nice at an 8, but never mind. Damn it.
I could be talked down to a 7.
Nah, dude, I got nothing.
All right, last up, we got our own personal score. You want to take this one first?
I would love to. So overall, not a great DreamWorks movie, but not a bad one either. I would say. The story is it kind of felt like all over the place. It didn't have a certain structure, which that's what I wanted. Definitely reminded me a lot of Rise of the Guardians, but made me realize why Rise of the Guardians is the better movie out of the two. But for what it is, I still had a decent time. The dark, the light, and all the other entities are enjoyable. Their designs especially look fantastic. So like like Caleb pointed out, I can understand why I went to streaming. I can understand why it wasn't released in theaters, but it is definitely not DreamWorks' worst. I can't even think of DreamWorks' worst right now.
Honestly, I think this might be up there.
Yeah, okay. Because I mean, a lot of people, they would say, "Oh yeah, Shrek 3 and 4 are the worst," but I mean, I don't know. For me, Shrek 4 is actually my favorite Shrek. Third one I can understand. But anyway, but yeah, you got a point there. It is kind of in that category. So personal score. I think I'll be at a. Oh, damn it. This is hard. I think I'll be at a 79. Yeah, I'm going to go 79.
Yeah, unfortunately, this might be one, like just comparing it to like other DreamWorks properties, at least ones that I've seen, because there's a lot of DreamWorks movies I haven't seen, and it's their older stuff. So like I've never seen Ants.
Everyone talks so high of that movie. Like it's become like such a like, oh, people like are discovering how good it is. It's good, but I hate people that say, oh, it's better than Bug's Life. I'm like, no, it is not.
Dude, that is complete horse shit.
Yeah. But if anything, Bug's Life is the Pixar movie that more people need to talk about, because, in my opinion, Pixar or A Bug's Life is underloved. It deserves more love.
I would almost put this on the same level as maybe Monsters versus Aliens.
Ooh, yeah, okay.
Even though
Yeah.
I do think Monsters versus Aliens might be a bit better than this one.
That's
And
fair.
that's just because I feel like the humor is better.
Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough.
This might also, I would say, maybe on the same level as Turbo.
Yeah, I would definitely give you that.
Yeah. Like that's around where I would set it. I mean, it's a good movie. Unfortunately, it wasn't. I had a hard time getting through it. I tried watching it this morning, and wasn't able to like make it through it. Like
Dude,
I
I'm
damn
glad I'm
near
not
almost
the
fell
only.
asleep.
Oh, dude, I did fall asleep a couple times. I'm glad I'm not the only. Yeah, I had to rewind this multiple times. So I hope 79 isn't being too nice.
Yeah. But yeah, it wasn't even able to keep my daughter's attention.
Dude, that's saying a lot, because there are a lot of pretty colors in this movie.
I know. Dude, she just wasn't having it.
I don't
Like
blame
she
her.
watched the beginning, but as it started like dragging on, she just like started like she was dozing off too, and I'm like, that's pretty bad.
Damn.
And she wanted to go off and do something else, like she wanted to go like play Mario on the Switch or whatever, and I was like, I feel like, kid, like this movie's boring.
Hey, even though I submitted my scores, can you change those or no? Or is that locked in?
No, you can change them. Like I'm not.
Forget. No, because like
You're
honestly,
already
like,
locked in your score.
but I forgot the fact that I freaking fell asleep and I had to rewind this multiple times.
Yeah, I mean that's not distracting me too much. Like I'm
Yeah,
not
fair
like
enough.
I'm not I'm not downing the movie too much because like I
Yeah, true.
understand it in when all's said and done, I'm not the target audience for this movie.
Good point.
And so me falling asleep during a kids movie is not going to be an uncommon occurrence if the kids movie sucks.
Yeah,
And
okay, you
this
got a
one, I
point
mean,
there.
saying it sucks is a bit harsh, but it's not one that I feel I'm ever going to really watch again.
Same.
So honestly, I think I'm sitting at like a 73 for my personal
Damn.
score.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. Was I too nice to this? Because like now that I'm thinking of it, like honestly, like really, my score would be like a 76.
Well, should have thought about that before you
Well,
submitted your scores.
God damn it. Well, whatever. All right, I'll be nice to this movie for the both of us.
All righty. So going through these scores real quick, our story ended up averaging out to a 70. The writing is sitting at a 67.5, which is actually the lowest category. Acting got a decent bump, sitting at a 77. Character development took a bit of a dive, sitting at a 68. The animation ended up sitting at an 86. The music is sitting at a 6 out of 10. The costumes or the character design is an 8 out of 10. And our personal score ended up averaging out to a 76.
Okay. All right. I'll take that.
Yeah, feel better about it now?
Yeah, I do.
All right. So with that, the final All Bros letter grade for Orion and the Dark is a C.
All right. I like that.
I like that too.
Is it lower? Is it like a solid C or like kind of on the lower side?
That is a great question. Let's find out. All right, it's a sturdy C.
Okay.
Yeah, it ended so our cutoff for a C plus is a 76%. This ended up getting a 75.56%.
All right, not bad.
Yeah, not bad at all. So that puts it, let's go below. So this is sitting below My Spy.
All right, fair.
It is below, and then jumping into the C+ range, it's below Transformers Rise of the Beasts.
Trying to decide which one I like more because I fell asleep in both of them.
It is below Paws of Fury, The Legend of Hank.
Yes, I'm gonna disagree with that one.
Really?
Yeah, I liked this way better than that.
I like Paws of Fury a little bit better. It is below Cocaine Bear.
I don't know what to say to that. I really should try to watch that movie again.
Let's see. It's below The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard.
All right.
And it is below Disenchanted.
Okay, I can get that one.
All right, going the opposite direction. This is sitting above. Oh, this is going to be controversial. This is above The Addams Family.
I can understand that.
Oh, do you?
Yeah,
Okay.
because like as I enjoy those movies, but like when it comes to like actually being like decent, like those movies are not great. They're really not. And yeah, I will admit that this movie is better than that.
All right. This is above Ant-Man and the Wasp.
I think I put Ant-Man and the Wasp above it. That's a sequel that gets way too much hate.
I mean, it didn't get any love from us, but
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. After rewatching it a couple times, like
yeah, I think that might be one of those ones that got the mass rating treatment.
yeah. So what you're saying is we need to revisit that one.
That might be one that's maybe worth re-exploring.
I'm cool with that because I freaking love this second Ant-Man.
Yeah. All right. It is above Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker.
Bullshit.
That's bullshit.
You know how I've already said why I love The Force Awakens and The Rise of Skywalker. I'm not going to go into detail.
Well, you can jump in a creek. Orion in the Dark is better.
All right, I'll agree with it. Because Caleb has to be an asshole about it.
All right, it's above Venom.
Yeah, that's fair.
That might be one that I like about, but that's because I think my personal score is higher for Venom.
That's how I feel about Rise of Skywalker, but you know. What?
All right, and then it is above Power Rangers.
Oh yeah, I disagree with that.
Yeah, me too.
I love Power Rangers.
Power Rangers was good.
Like,
I want to see like how.
why the hell did we rank that so low? Excuse me.
I feel like this is one that might have gotten the guest treatment, but I'm not 100% sure. The story. So I mean, the story was okay. The writing took a bit of a dive, which I can, if memory serves, like I can stand by that. The acting was I think that one might be a bit low.
Okay.
Character development pretty average, which is fine. Effects were average. Music was a 7 out of 10. Costumes were a 6 out of 10, which
dude, we got to revisit this shit.
that
This shit's getting
the
into
personal
B
score
territory with our regrading. Making it my mission.
Yeah, it seems like we came across a few of those.
Yeah, so okay, add that to the list of, I guess, re-reviews coming soon. Ant-Man and the Wasp and Power Rangers. Or Saban's Power Rangers, but I guess that's the proper term to call it.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's what, or 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, yeah, that's 5. So that's where it's sitting.
Okay. Definitely agree with most, but disagree with some. Rise of Skywalker. Just kidding. Can we add that to the list of ones we revisit too? Just
Rise of Skywalker? No. That is exactly where it needs to be.
Did we ever do The Force Awakens?
I don't know if we ever did.
Okay. Because that's A tier. That's A tier.
I think we start. I'm not sure if we. When was Force Awakens and Thor Ragnarok around the same time?
No, Force Awakens came out in 2015.
Oh, yeah. So that was well pre-podcast.
Yeah, that I just thought that maybe in preparation for the Rise of Skywalker, we did The Force Awakens, but we did not.
Nope. But anyway.
Yeah.
Well, with that, pretty sure that wraps up this week's episode. So if you like this episode, want to hear more of our stuff, be sure to follow and subscribe to us wherever you listen to podcasts. We are basically everywhere. We're also on all social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, all at the All Bros. You can also email us if you prefer to get in contact with us that way, the allbroschannel@gmail.com, where you can find, and you can check out our website, tinyurl.com/the allbros, where you can find links to everything that we do. Next week, I don't know what we decided to do yet, so that is a to be discussed.
Yes.
Yeah, February has kind of been a crazy month. So there's going to be some crazy shit going on. So just be prepared for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, you guys might be just as surprised as we are by what we do next week. So until then, this has been the All Bros Podcast. I'm Caleb.
And I'm Jonathan.
And we'll catch you guys next week. Deuces.
See ya.